Hi there, my name is Mikaela and welcome to my new channel, the Humble Homemaker. Today I want to discuss the importance of a closing shift. Every establishment has a closing shift of sorts, a routine or set of tasks that set them up for success when they open back up the next day. As homemakers, we should be treating our own establishment, our home, the exact same way. I understand you may be feeling exhausted or overstimulated from a long day of keeping small humans alive, or maybe you work outside of the home on top of it all. Some days are a lot harder than others, but in order to set yourself and your family up for success the next day, it's crucial to have a solid but realistic closing shift every single night. I'm definitely not suggesting after the kids go to bed you need to dust your fans or clean out your junk drawer, two things I desperately need to do myself. But my recommendations do include some necessary but not fun tasks. However, I want us to try to shift our mindset about these chores, which we'll touch on in a little bit. A household closing shift is a great way to stay on top of tedious daily chores and avoid being instantly overwhelmed in the morning. Who enjoys waking up to a sink full of crusty, smelly dishes, or stepping into piles of crumbs from lunch the day before? Certainly not me. After I put my 2.5 and 1-year-old to bed, the first thing I usually do is let out a big sigh. If you're in a season of raising littles, I'm sure you understand what I mean. And then I typically notice the very daunting living room floor covered in all sorts of toys, just strewn about. I could let myself get annoyed about this, which if I'm being honest, I definitely do sometimes. Or I could thank God for the gift of their little imaginations and tiny bodies that are capable of playing at all. I also like to thank God for the finances to get my kids toys that they enjoy playing with. You see, it's easy to get annoyed with the mess, but it's just as easy to take a moment and remember why the mess is there in the first place. Psalms 127 verses 3 through 5 says, "Behold, children are a heritage from the Lord, the fruit of the womb a reward. Like arrows in the hand of a warrior are the children of one's youth. Blessed is the man who fills his quiver with them." Next up is usually the dishes. Sometimes the sink looks really overwhelming, but it usually ends up going faster than I expect it to. Doing the dishes is something I used to be pretty lazy about, but since having kids, I cannot stand going to bed with anything left in the sink. Luckily, it's a chore that I find quite satisfying these days. However, I am a normal person, so there are times I don't want to do them, especially if I had a really tough or overstimulating day. Sometimes I might even get resentful that I am the designated dish doer, even though this is the job I always wanted and feel so blessed that I get to do. So when these negative thoughts begin to overtake my mind, I remind myself of exactly that. I get to do this. I get to serve my family nutritious home-cooked meals. I get to be the keeper of my home. Through serving my family, I am directly serving Christ. these seemingly mundane tasks are what my ministry looks like in this season. First Corinthians 10:31 says, "So, whether you eat or drink, or whatever you do, do all to the glory of God." This means everything, you guys. Do everything you do for the glory of God. Even the dishes. Typically, my last task of the night is folding a load of laundry. I used to save all of my laundry for the weekends, which obviously would turn into quite the pile of dirty clothes, and it got really stressful. So early this fall, I began washing and folding one load a day, or at least every other day, and this has made laundry way more manageable. But, of course, it's still not the most exciting thing to do, and I have moments where I try to convince myself that it can wait until tomorrow. But tomorrow me is always thankful to present me for just getting it done. I think this seemingly innocent laziness sprouts forth from a seed of ungratefulness hiding in the dirt. How blessed are we that we have people we love living in our house, dirtying these clothes? How blessed are we that we even have clothes to wear at all? Not to mention machines that wash and dry them for us. Maybe you don't have the fanciest designer clothes or the newest washer and dryer model, but I promise you there is someone out there who would probably appreciate what you have way more than you do. I'm sorry if that sounds harsh, but it's simply the truth. Not only are most of us rich in earthly blessings, but thankfully we're also rich in the Lord's mercy and grace. So if you've been walking in ungratefulness or discontentment, I urge you to ask for forgiveness and nail your flesh to the cross. Pray for a grateful heart and for Jesus' strength against your sinful thoughts. Colossians 3, verse 16 through 17 says this, "Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly, teaching and admonishing one another in all wisdom, singing psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, with thankfulness in your hearts to God. And whatever you do, in word or deed, do everything in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God the Father through him." Well, friends, that's what I'm going to leave you with today. I pray this video blessed you in some way, and I hope you'll adopt some of these homemaking habits into your own life if you haven't already. Completing these simple chores before bed can really impact how your tomorrow will look. Thank you for joining me on my first video on this channel, and God bless you.